for an interesting new puzzle game that draws some inspiration from games like Portal? If you answered yes, check out my review of Hourglass, coming up next on Mumbles. Hi everyone, Mumbles here. I have been a big fan of Portal type games ever since I played the very first Portal game. I love the idea behind them, I love how it challenges your mind to think, and sometimes I find myself going back to those games just to replay them because I love them so much. On today's episode of Mumbles, I found another game that is very Portal-like. Today we review Hourglass. Let's start with a short description. In Hourglass, you create a time clone of yourself to solve challenging puzzles. You will play as Arwa, a young adventurer who is traveling to Egypt to find her missing father, an archaeologist, who has never returned from his latest expedition. At the time of this review, you can pick this game up for Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch, and PC for $24.99. That is the description. We are now going to move on into the gameplay section, but before I do that, I do gotta ask, please subscribe to MumblesVideos, and thank you guys all so much for the support. You're amazing. On to my gameplay section. Gameplay-wise, this is a very simple game to understand. As you proceed through it, you will come upon various puzzles that will basically need you to use switches or buttons in various ways. It can be anything from standing on a button to pushing a switch and getting to an area in so much time. And some of these puzzles you simply cannot complete by yourself, but you have no one with you. So instead of asking for help, you get your time cloned self to help you beat these puzzles. So basically, let's say you need your character to stand on top of a block and get to another area from the top of that block. But you can't jump up on top of that block. You have to jump up onto a platform and then jump up onto the block and then be pushed across to the other side. You can use your time clone self to basically do that, get on top of the block, and then have the time clone self move you across that gap. And if you play this game, you will find lots of situations just like that where having your time clone self help is the only way of proceeding onward. And that's basically the game. That's all there is to the game. There's a lot of pressing switches, figuring out which order switches go in, figuring out where to go, using your time clone self to do this or that. And that's the game. We move now on into the cons, and the first and major con for this game is repetition. After about an hour in, I noticed that there was a whole lot of repetition going on in this game. Not a lot of new things being introduced. You can only use your time warp self. It's only cool so many times before it's like, man, haven't I done some variation of this thing like 5 times already? I don't want to keep doing it. But you have to in order to play the game. And the second con that I have for this game is that there's no real innovation presented in this game. You know, having this time warped self is nothing we haven't seen before. We've seen this kind of thing before, and as a result, just didn't feel like it was anything all that new. So that leads us now on into my score section. I have to say, Hourglass is a fun little game with a fun little idea, but unfortunately, they needed to expand on this idea and do more with it, in my opinion. You know, you can only play a game like this for so long until you're like, man, I want a different kind of puzzle. One thing that made games like Portal and stuff like that so interesting was the way that they kept introducing things on as you went through each game. So more and more was introduced, and then you had all these different kinds of things. They mixed and matched things together. In this game, they kind of said, okay, this is our idea. This is what we're sticking to. So as a result, on today's episode of Mumbles, I am only going to give this game a 4 out of 10 from me. Anyways, guys, this has been my review of Hourglass. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Please smack that subscribe button, smack the like button, smack all those buttons. And I'll see you guys all in the next video. Bye, everyone. Take care.